Welcome to another edition of Inside the Mind, where we break down the creative processes of some of the greatest horror icons and modern masters. Today we are taking a journey into the dark recesses of the minds responsible for bringing you face to face with your worst nightmares at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights 2025. Now, I am sure you have already seen our reviews of all 8 terrifying mazes and 2 scare zones, but this video is not about the scares. This is a rare look at the masterminds and mad geniuses who concocted them. You ready? Let's do this. Alright, so before we dive headfirst into the blueprint of fear itself, allow me to introduce you to the visionaries, who are the puppet masters pulling the strings of terror. Get ready, because we're about to lift the curtain and reveal the architects of your deepest fears. First up, we have Mike ELO, creative director for Universal Orlando Resort. Now, if the name sounds familiar, that S, because Mike was the mastermind behind the critically acclaimed House of 1,000 Corpses at HHN 2024. That right there was an instant classic, so you can expect that same level of brilliance from him again this year. Next, we've got Brian Tighe, also a creative director over at Universal Orlando Resort. Brian brings his own unique brand of creepy to the table. Think back to the chilling, foggy Pinewood Motel from last year's event. Yeah, he's responsible for that. And let's not forget Charlie Mancuso as senior art director. Charlie is the man who turns raw creative concepts into fully fleshed out mazes that you'll be navigating this Halloween season. He's the one who makes the monsters come alive. Okay, so these are the big bosses, but we could untalk about the design process without mentioning the incredible team of artists and designers who make it all happen. Each one of them plays a crucial role in bringing the creative vision to life and making sure that every detail is just right. So now that we know the players, it's time to see how they work. First up on the agenda, let's unpack the very first steps of the design process. How do these masterminds go from a simple concept to a full-blown nightmare factory? In the beginning, there are just a few scribbles on a page, a concept that sparks the imagination. But how does that tiny spark turn into a roaring bonfire of terror? Well, let me take you through the creative process step by step. The first thing you need to understand is that designing a haunted house or a maze is kind of like writing a movie script. There's a beginning, rising, action, climax, and then the end. It's just that in this case, the guests are the ones experiencing the story. As the creative director sits down with their team, they start brainstorming ideas that fit the overall theme of HHN 2025, which happens to be Worlds Collide this year. Then comes the fun part. They sketch out their initial ideas, drawing what might become the iconic imagery of the maze. At this stage, it's all about capturing the essence of the theme. Once the basic concept is decided, the real nitty-gritty begins. The concept artist steps in and starts fleshing out the ideas with more detailed drawings and paintings. They breathe life into the initial sketches, adding color, texture, and depth. And this is where the magic happens. These concept designs become the visual Bible for the entire maze. Every decision from that point on has to align with the artistic direction established here. But the creative team doesn't work in a vacuum. They have to collaborate with other departments too. The lighting designer will need to study these concept arts to understand how light and shadow can enhance the scares. The sound designer will start thinking about how the right audio track can amplify the guest's emotional response. Everyone is working in unison to concept phase, it's time to start putting pen to paper, literally. The storyboard artists take over, illustrating key scenes and moments that will unfold in the maze. This is like creating a movie trailer, except instead of a movie, you're designing a haunted house. But wait, there's more. Enter the prop designer. They take the artistic direction and turn it into tangible objects that guests will actually encounter. From a gnarled tree branch to an intricately designed torture device, every prop tells a story and adds to the overall immersion of the maze. Finally, the set decorator comes in to pull everything together. They add the finishing touches, making sure every corner, every surface is covered and contributing to the overall atmosphere of the maze. Okay, so we've talked about the blueprint for creating the mazes. Now let's discuss the engineering of fear itself. After all, Halloween Horror Nights is known not only for its indoor mazes, but also for its chilling open-air scare zones. Designing these spaces is a whole different ballgame, and it requires a unique set of skills and creativity. When it comes to designing a scare zone, the goal is to create an immersive environment that extends beyond the confines of the indoor mazes. Think of the scare zones as the interstitial spaces between the mazes, the places where guests can catch their breath and maybe, just maybe, prepare for the next onslaught of terror. However, don't be fooled. Just because these areas are outdoors doesn't mean they are any less terrifying. In fact, designing these open-air zones is a unique challenge and a creative opportunity that sets Halloween Horror Nights apart from other events. To truly design a successful scare zone, you have to consider all the elements that make a place feel lived in, whether that be a spooky Victorian street or a haunted carnival midway. Environmental details, props, set decoration, and costuming all play a part in creating an immersive atmosphere that pulls guests into the story. It's important to remember that a scare zone is not just a bunch of scare actors standing around waiting to jump out and scare people. It's a complete experience. The placement of each scare actor, the design of the environment, even the type of fog rolling across the ground is carefully thought out to create a cohesive and terrifying world. In a nutshell, the philosophy behind designing a scare zone is to create an environment that feels so real, so lived in, that guests can't help but feel like they've stepped into another world. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's anything but. Creating a world that's both believable and terrifying, creativity and a touch of madness. But when done right, the results can be truly spectacular. Imagine walking through a foggy graveyard, the air heavy with the scent of decay, as figures rise from their graves and shamble towards you. Or picture yourself wandering through a twisted carnival, the smell of popcorn and cotton candy doing little to mask the metallic temps of blood. These are the kinds of experiences that stick with you long after the event is over. Let's not forget the art of the scare. What really makes these mazes and scare zones terrifying is the psychological component. You see, fear is not just about what you see or hear. It's also about what you feel and what you anticipate. When designing a maze or a scare zone, the creative team has to tap into the guests' deepest fears and anxieties. Whether it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of confinement, or the fear of what might be lurking in the shadows, these are the emotions that drive the ultimate scare. Take a moment to think about the things that scare you the most. Is it spiders, clowns, the dark? Chances are The creative team behind Halloween Horror Nights has considered these fears and more. They know that the scariest monsters are often the ones that prey on our deepest anxieties. So as you navigate through the mazes and scare zones, keep an eye out for the subtle details, the sounds, the smells, the textures that evoke a sense of dread and unease. These are the tools of the trade, the weapons of mass hysteria deployed by the creative team to ensure you have a night you will soon forget. I'm here to tell you that HHN 2025 is something special. If you've attended before, you know the drill. But if this is your first rodeo, let me warn you, this isn't your average haunted house tour. We're talking about an event that transforms the beloved Universal Studios into a landscape of terror. 8 terrifying mazes that take you through everything from haunted hospitals to cursed forests. As you wander through these mazes, you'll encounter characters straight out of your nightmares. And trust me, they won't be handing out candy. This is a full contact sport. You'll be dodging, leaping, and screaming your way through these mazes. And if that's not enough, throw in 2 additional scare zones, 2 horrifying shows, and plenty of ghastly surprises scattered throughout the park, and you have a recipe for a truly unforgettable night. So when you enter the gates of Universal Studios this Halloween season, remember, you're not just stepping into a theme park. You're entering a realm where the line between reality and nightmare is frighteningly thin. Now it's time to hear from you. Which design element of HHN 2025 has scared you the most? Or if you're a fan of Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, what's your favorite design element from years past? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to support the channel. Thanks for watching.